הריני מקשר עצמי ועצמנו, בלים את הרזו לכל הצדיקים האמיתיים שברינו, לכל הצדיקים האמיתיים שוכנע פעל קדושים שבצם הפרט לבין הקדוש, צדיק יסוד עולם, נחל נובע מכל חוכמה, רבינו נחמן בן פגה, נענך נחמן מיום, זכו סמגן לכל ישראל, אמן. Okay, so on Torah Vav, section A, and we've been talking about the idea of giving kavod to Hashem in two worlds. That there's, and we're talking that there's the union of kvod atzmo and kvod makom. And when we're looking at the Hashem's orchestrating what's happening with me in this world, that's that's kvod makom in this world. And what we want to eventually get to the point is where we can recognize that also the manifestation of my neshama and what my neshama is doing in what's called the nekuda elyona, the upper point, that's also Hashem is doing, orchestrating that. Mm-hmm. That and my ability to recognize kvod makom is also Hashem giving that or not. That's giving kavod to Hashem in this world and in the next world. That's tshuva l'tshuva rishona. That now I'm coming back to my awareness. I'm coming back to reclaiming my awareness that Hashem is creating this moment, right? Mm-hmm. And then my awareness of Hashem is bringing me to that awareness that Hashem is creating this moment. Right, so that's the tshuva l'tshuva rishona, because right. We said that there's the support for this being the true shot of what Rabbi Nachman's teaching us is that he says we need to hold on to the trait of tshuva all the time. So therefore it can't be that he's saying that the tshuva that we have to hold on to is I sinned, I do a vidui and all these things, because that can't be, because in the moment, if I've already done this, then I've done tshuva and Hashem has received my tshuva, and I can't be constantly living my life going, I sinned, I did, and I can't. That's not what the consciousness is. That therefore the tshuva that Rabbi Nachman is talking about must be a different tshuva, and that's the tshuva of reminding myself over and over that Hashem is the one who's projecting His will as this moment, as this place, kvod makom, over and over and over and over, to remind myself over and over. And it seems to me that the way of doing this is ping-ponging the thoughts between kvod makom and kvod atzmo. Mm-hmm. Okay, so section Hey. What
does chirik mean?
Chirik is the vowel, a nakuda, point. Right? The chirik is like me, like the Hebrew vowel, the vowel under.
Okay.
That's a chirik.
Oh, okay. God, I haven't heard. I must not have heard that word since first or second grade.
And I was just realizing a nice little chiddush here. Chirik can be read as chayrik, an empty life. In other words, we're making ourselves nullified in that place. He says that place where anazamin lemahave, I'm ready to have an existence.
Anazamin lemahave, I'm ready to have. Yeah.
So chirik is chayrik.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new little chiddush. Thank you, Hashem. So through the demima and the shtika. Now remember, Rabbi Nachman says that his words are very, very meticulous. So the fact that he's using two languages, demima and shtika, silence and quiet. You're quiet, like being silent and shutting up. Right?
Yeah.
So that means that makes sense that there's two different aspects. And I've suggested that demima is the aspect of like being a domem, like you're being an inanimate object.
Uh-huh.
And that shtika is that that I'm going to want to talk about this experience, and I still stay quiet.
Got it.
I don't know if that's it, but people so far, as I said, people who have suggested this do like the idea, but I haven't seen any I don't remember having seen confirmation. I have to. At one point, I looked through like all the halachas on this that have to do with this, and I think Rav Nosson, there was a lot of things Baruch Shekivanti that Rav Nosson did say. I do not remember if he mentions this idea as well. I have to look and see again. Anyway, so he says through this quality of demima and shtika, of quiet, being silent and quiet, we become an aspect of this lower point, this chirik. Kumuva, as it says in the Tikkun Zohar, V'tachas raglav, in the Hakdama, in the introduction to the Tikkun Zohar, he brings the verse from Shmot that it says V'tachas raglav k'masa livnata sapir, and under his legs was like the manifestation or the formation of a sapphire. And the Tikkun Zohar says dachirik, that under his legs is a chirik, is this vowel, this point.
Uh-huh.
V'zeh bechinas v'ha'aretz adom raglai. And this is what it says in Yeshayahu. This is an aspect of the land. The silent land was my legs. Was my leg. No, my legs.
Yeah.
Ha'aretz ha'adom. The land, the silent. Or the silent. Hadom is a bechinas demima. Right? So this silent land is, but I think Haaretz Hadom, I think that's also referring to domem, the inanimate earth. You know, says that's an aspect of this silence. And this is the aspect of the lower point of the form of the Hebrew letter of Aleph. Right? So
yeah.
if you look at the Aleph, you see the Aleph there, you see that how he's written. So you have the Aleph is made of an upper point, a lower point, and a Vav between them.
Yeah.
The Yud is called a point. Excuse me. The upper point on top of the Aleph is the aspect of Keser, of the crown sphera. Bechinas umima'al, and it's also, this is what brings from Yechezkel in the vision of the chariot. Umima'al rakia asher rosham even sapir demus kise, and above the firmament, which is like the stretching forth of the sky, what we see as the sky, that's this, like he said later, he's going to say it's like a tent. So whatever is above that is like, again, right, that's the idea of the spiritual realms above physicality.
Mm-hmm.
So above the firmament, which is over their heads, was a sapphire stone in the appearance of a throne.
Mm-hmm.
That it is covered from above through the vav of the aleph. That this appearance of the sapphire, this throne, is covered up by the vav in the aleph. That this vav in the aleph is called the firmament of the heavens.
Sorry, I'm only asking this now, but I was just thinking about it. What exactly does firmament mean? Like the rakia is?
Well, that is the word they use. That's the firmament. But as I said, the rakia is that dividing place where what we see is divided from what we don't see.
Got it.
In other words, it's the place where physicality finishes and spirituality and pure spirituality starts.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we get glimpses of spirituality within the physicality,
Right.
but there's a place that's above that's a pure spirituality that we don't get glimpses of except through prophetic visions.
What is that, like Atzilut? No. Is that what it is?
Atzilut is the upper
Is the
place of
upper
that.
one. So what is it,
Right.
Bria or
I mean,
Yetzira?
Yetzira.
So Rakia is the place between our world and Yetzira? Is that what it is?
That's a good way to say it. Yeah, that's probably a good way to say it.
I'm just asking. Yeah.
I mean, it could be. Let's see. Let me think. It's talking. I think the mice of the Merkava, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, is the embodiment of all the three. Because it talks about the wheels of the chariot, I believe, are Yetzira, and the chariot itself might be Bria, and the seat on the chariot is Atzilus. Don't quote me on that. Because I'm not such a scholar that I know this, to be able to give it over. Maybe Kane, you're at some one day. So the Miskasi Le'ela Me Aleph, Kisei the Miskasi Le'ela Mivav Shav Aleph Vanakuda. Okay, that's called Yukia. Vanakuda he Kisei the Miskasia, and the Nakuda, the above the upper point, is the throne that is covered. Kamoshkasu Bamufla Mimcha Al Tidrosh Ubamachusa Mimcha Al Tachor. In that which is wondrous from you. In other words, like it's beyond your comprehension. Don't try to figure it out. And that which is covered from you, don't try to investigate. And that is the aspect of godly kavod is a hidden thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is bechinas keser, which is so. By the way, so you said we want to say keser is also keser. Even though there's each world has its full set of 10 sfirot, right? Yetzira has a keser, but the keser of Yetzira overlaps, or it's an overlap with the malchus of Bria.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, it's more complicated than that. Doesn't line up 1-1. Actually, there's different elements of the higher realms ensconced in the sefirot of the lower realms and they become garments for the, and like for instance, if I'm not the keser of Yetzira, which is Za, which is the head, which is the crown of Zeranpin.
Of what?
Zeranpin is a part. Each of these worlds has also a personality, as it were, which is called a partsuf.
Uh-huh.
A face. And the world of Yetzira, the face of the Yetzira is called Zeranpin. But the keser of Zeranpin extends up into the chest of Ima, if I'm not mistaken. Ima is the world of Bria, and Abba is the world of Atzilus. And then there's Adam Kadmon, which is above, but Adam Kadmon, no. So that's there's these different superstructures that are these partsufim, and there's something called Ari Hanpin and Atik Yomin, and they are like the 3 points of the Ketzer. There's Arich, Atik, and Atika Kadisha, and those are the names of the three heads of the highest level of Kesser.
Yeah.
And they there's a very amazing, complicated network of how they're ensconced in each other as the chaining down from the most refined light becomes more and more coarsened until it becomes physicality.
Mm-hmm.
So the place above, the place of pure spirituality, is the place of the hidden, the kavod of Elokim, which is a hidden thing.
Mm-hmm.
B'chinas kaseh v'havav shebetoch ha'aleph hu rakia. And the vav
Mm-hmm.
inside the aleph is the aspect of this firmament that separates between pure spirituality and the mixture of physicality and spirituality, which is this world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's called Shemayim. That's the heavens. Eish Shemayim. Now, the word Shemayim, as we brought our sages teach us, Shemayim is a construct or a contraction of Eish and Mayim, fire and water.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the aspect of Busha. Shenishtana panav lekama gvanim. That his face turns as different shades. When a person's embarrassed, there's the face goes from flushed to white, right? There's a flushed and a red, and it becomes white with pale, right? There's this changing of the colors that happens when we go through busha.
Mm-hmm.
V'zeh b'chinas rakia klalius agvanim, and that's the aspect of the rakia, the firmament being the all-inclusive compilation of all the different colors, and that's like white light being the refracted into all the different colors of the rainbow.
Right.
Right. So we see that when there's a refraction. Why do we see the rainbow? Because the unified light of the heavens becomes refracted into its different colors. So the rakia is all the different colors. And I think, and I understood from here that Rabbi Nachman's teaching us also that emotions are like colors.
Right.
And it makes a lot of sense because, like emotions, what are emotions? They're different vibrations of consciousness, and everything's made of light. So just like a color, each color is a different vibration of light. Emotions are different vibrations of consciousness, which again is rooted in light. So you can say that emotions are like different colors.
Mm-hmm.
And this aspect of the rakia is brought into existence through the nasa al yedei zeh adam lesheves al hakiseh, and this happens through the process of a man coming to sit on the throne, K'mo shekasuv, as it says in Yechezkel in the vision of the chariot, u'demus k'mareh adam alav milamala, and the apparition like the appearance of a man upon the throne from above. Right? So he goes, Kiles Adam below Aleph. There's no such thing as Adam. The word Adam has to have an Aleph.
Has an Aleph.
But also, he's saying here that the nature of a person is that this quality of Aleph has to be existent in a person. That he has a lower point and an upper point and a dividing line that separates his pure spiritual part from the mixed together spiritual physical part.
Uh-huh.
V'zeh osios Adam, and that we see these are the letters of the word Adam. Aleph Dam. That
So
Adam is made of two of the letters Aleph and the word Dam, which is blood, which is also Dom, which is also silence. Hainu al Dom Lashem, by the process of being silent to Hashem, being like an inanimate object and watching Hashem create this place, this me, in this place, that causes the formation of this Aleph, that causes the manifestation of this entity called Aleph.
So we're talking about the letter itself, or about a person, or about the bechina of Aleph.
Yes.
So it's almost like you have, it's like dome and then Aleph, and then it comes. Does that make sense?
Say it. Go ahead.
So it's like the dome comes out of the Aleph, and then once you're once there is the dome Lashem, the Aleph can be created. It's like I'm not.
I think the dome comes out of the Aleph. Yeah, I think yeah. When the person sits silently, he starts to form the Aleph. The dome comes out of the. I think it's the other way around. See, by sitting silently in the dome, that becomes that lower point.
Got it.
And then by being in touch with by staying silent, that's the embarrassment, he says. That feeling that we have when we're sitting there, when we want to speak. Remember, I think I told you that a big part of my process that helped me understand this was I practiced sitting silently, especially amongst people, and feeling the discomfort of wanting to speak and letting myself watch that feeling called discomfort of wanting to speak and watching Hashem create that feeling. And I came to realize that feeling is an aspect of embarrassment. So that feeling is the Vav.
Was that? Oh, it's the Vav that's in between the Aleph. So it's
right.
like
the feeling is like the connecting, the connector. It's like the feeling itself is what gives us the experience of connecting between the physical and the spiritual. Sitting silently in that feeling and watching and becoming aware that there's Hashem creating this experience.
Got it.
And that's why it's Demima Vishtika.
Yeah.
Because the Demima is the initial sitting there having no existence, and then the Shtika is, as I'm sitting there, I'm going to start feeling something that I don't like, and I'm going to talk to alleviate that uncomfortable feeling.
You think we could go through the previous paragraph real quick one more time? Just
from where?
So when we started talking about the Aleph, the Tmuna of Aleph.
So let's just read through from the beginning of Hey real quick. Let's just go through.
All right. Thanks. Sorry.
What are you sorry for, brother? That's why we're here.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
He's so cute. Okay. Al Yidei Ademima. Hey. Al Yidei Ademima Shtika Nasa Bechinas Chirik. Through the silence and the quiet, it becomes the aspect of this chirik, this lower point. As it says, there's a vision in Shmot. Under his legs was a formation like a building of a sapphire. Da chirik, that's the point of chirik. Zebechinas va'aretz hadom raglai. The earth, the silent earth is my legs. Hadom, the silent, is the aspect of demima. Or hadom, inanimate. We'll call it the inanimate earth, is the aspect of silence. Zebechinas anakuda tachtona. This is the bottom point of the picture of an aleph. With nakuda elyona, the upper point, sha'al ha'aleph, that's on top of the aleph. Zebechinas keser. That upper point is the aspect of the crown, the keser. Bechinas umimal rekia asher al rosham even sapir demus kiseh. Above the rekia, which is upon their heads, which is a crown, right, is a sapphire stone in the appearance of a throne. That is covered above from the vav that's in the aleph. Demiskaria rekia, that vav is called the rekia. Vanakuda huba kise demiskasia, and the upper point is the throne that's covered. Kamoshkasu b'mufla mimcha al tidrosh. What is wondrous to you, don't try to check out. And don't investigate that which is covered from you. And that's the aspect of godly honor as a hidden thing. Bechinas keser, this is the crown. And the vav that's inside the aleph is the rikia, is this dividing firmament that separates between pure spiritual existence and the physical world, which is the mixture of physical and spiritual. And that's called Shamayim, which is Eish and Mayim, fire and water. Bechinas Habusha, which is the aspect of the embarrassment. Shnishhtana panav lekamigvanim. That on the one hand it's red, it's like fire. On the other hand, the face goes pale like water. That's the key rikia. The heavens is like the embodiment of all the colors. And through these elements of the upper point, the lower point, and the vav, that makes a man that's sitting on the throne, as it says in Chezkel Dumus Kimare Adam Alav Milamala, an appearance like an apparition like the appearance of a man from above. Kiles Adam below Aleph. There's no such thing as an Adam without Aleph, and it means the word itself that the word has to have an Aleph, but it also means the nature of a person is including this construct of spirituality and physicality, and the intermediary, which is an emotion that is forming the Aleph. Zeos Adam, and that's why we have the word Adam. That the nature of a man. Every Hebrew word embodies the spiritual nature of the thing it names. So the nature of a man, an Adam, is Aleph Dam. And the Aleph is there's these elements of higher, lower point, upper point, and intermediary emotion, which is like the heavens, because it's including all the different colors, and Dam, blood. Hainu al yedei dom l'Shem, and that Dam we know is that we transform the Dam into dome. And when we do that, we kill the Yetzer Hara. Hainu al yedei dom l'Shem, through the being silent to Hashem. Nase Aleph, that creates this character trait of Aleph, of this combination of traits called Aleph. V'nase Adam l'shevas al hakisei, and Adam is made that when it becomes a man to sit on God's throne. Because the vav that's inside the aleph is the firmament, the embodiment of all the different colors, which he says is busha. Now, again, I would not understand this except through the experience that I had of doing this.
Yeah.
Right? Sitting there silent, wanting to talk, the feeling of wanting to talk, I could recognize, because he said this, I could think, oh, that's like it's an embarrassment. This feeling that makes me want to talk is a feeling of embarrassment. So next time you want to talk, see if you can catch yourself and sit there and notice the feeling of wanting to talk.
I'll try it.
Remember I told you that one time I went to a wedding and I decided I was going to work on sitting with the feeling of wanting to eat.
You never told me this story, no.
Oh, okay. So around during this time when I was starting to understand these ideas, Hashem brought me a friend, and he was a young guy, cutest guy. He was like the sweetest guy, and we met in Sfat, and we had this deep talk. And I was telling him all these ideas, and he was on fire from it, and it made such a huge impact on him. And then every now and then, every time I would have a new chidush, I would find that this guy would show up. Every time I had a new insight into these ideas, this guy ended up, I'd see him right at the exact same time. And it was an amazing thing because it kept happening.
That's awesome.
So I realized that every time I go to a wedding, I have this feeling, I have a challenge with eating, like many people do. I have a taivas achila, and my challenge with eating has to do with a lot of a feeling of I'm not going to get my needs met. I got to make sure I get my food, and especially I feel this at a wedding when and I feel there's a lot of that frenetic energy of, oh, I got to get the food, I got to get what's here, I got to, and it's something I'm very embarrassed about. So I decided, and recognizing that that was happening with me, decided I was going to go to this particular wedding, and I was going to get there, and I was going to davka not eat, but rather sit with the feeling of wanting to eat.
Yeah.
Right. So this was on my mind. The first time I ever thought of doing this. I get to the wedding, and who's the first person I see? This guy.
This guy.
So he said, "How you doing?" I said, "Great. I'm working on the feeling of wanting to eat." And he said, "Yeah, me too. Let's go get some food." So, smiling inside because I saw that he didn't quite understand what I was doing. So we went to the buffet, and we loaded up plates. And we sat down, and he starts plowing in, and I'm sitting there. And I'm silently screaming to Hashem about this feeling and amazing how much it hurts, the uncomfortable feeling of sitting here wanting to eat, and the embarrassment I have about I love this food so much, and I want to love you, Hashem, and these types of thoughts are going through my head. And he looks over at me and he says, "Aren't you going to eat?" And I said, "No, I'm working on the feeling of wanting to eat." And he goes, "Oh."
That's sounds like what you're describing here. Or sounds like what we're.
Biduk. That's so. So I learned, like for instance, the feeling of wanting to cough.
Right.
It's like sometimes I'll get coughing attacks, and I realized that if I sit with the feeling of wanting to cough, I can actually let the coughing attack stop.
That's interesting. Since we started.
And again, let me finish that, because it's not that I'm sitting with watching Hashem create the feeling of wanting, wow, Hashem, here's a unique feeling that's different than all other feelings. And if I was creating the world, I certainly wouldn't have thought of creating this unique feeling, the feeling of wanting to cough. Wow, here's that feeling. I'm not coughing, I'm just looking at the feeling wanting to cough. And in doing that, it would release.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's sometimes sort of what I do when I'm focusing in on pain in my neck. You know, when you could just think about wanting to manipulate myself or make it go away, and sometimes it does release, sometimes not. But, yeah.
Right. So that's why that idea was what led to, and the experiences that I did led to this whole healing process thing of this brain hacks ideas that you can, on a spiritual level, that this is what's happening. There's a tikkun being made. And so that feeling, the holy sparks in that feeling, the Achraim Sheba Ekia, gets raised up. And so it's got its tikkun, so it doesn't need to be there anymore. And then there's the neurophysiological explanation that it activates safety and it brings the brain to move the energy.
I like it.
So this process of sitting with the busha, v'nekuda tachtona hi atztika v'demima, the earth is my silent legs. That's the aspect of the lower point, the chirik, the aspect of under his legs, tachat raglav. V'nekuda elyona hu kisei demiskasya. And the upper point is the throne that's being covered, b'chinas tshuva. And that is the aspect of tshuva, b'chinas kvod elokim aster davar. That you, the tshuva, so it's therefore he's saying here is that the tshuva is becoming mindful of this existence, of Hashem's throne, as it were. Becoming mindful of Hashem's throne is the tshuva.
Yeah.
And that's why, and that makes more sense than that to think that the tshuva is, I'm sorry for what I did. That's the secondary tshuva.
Right.
So I'm sorry for thinking it was me. Bechinas min mechuseh mimcha al tachkor, the aspect of that which is covered from you, don't investigate. Bechinas mimal rakia demus kiseh, above the firmament is the appearance of a throne. V'nasa adam l'shavas al kiseh, and a man is made to sit on the throne. Bechinas kemare adam alav milamala. I think that this might be a good place to pause.
All right, brother. This was great. Thank you so much.
Wait 1 second. Let me just stop recording. So we'll get to see, and for anybody who might be watching, we get to watch this when we put it up on YouTube. Take the opportunity. Hopefully, we'll get some more in the Rosh Hashanah. But to wish Chesima Tov with everybody, and may we be zocha to tshuva shlema, tshuva amitit.
Amen. Amen.
Ken Yirat Son.